I think what I'm going to do now is we're going to go back and we're going to do the intro to multiplication. And we're going to see how this connects to all the things that we were learning in kindergarten and first grade and second grade. All right? So we're going to start here. And as always, since this is the start of my stream, I will absolutely be pimping these particular videos right here. Yes, I said pimping. This is not a child's stream. Look at these videos. They are excellent. They go through and talk about all of the problems on Khan Academy, and they give lots of great information in a way that is easy to understand, kind of like what I'm trying to do here. So I definitely recommend, when you're done watching my video, watching these videos right here. And they will also help expand your understanding of these mathematical concepts, and they will be particularly useful to students who are using Khan Academy as a classroom exercise or as a classroom tool. All right, so we're going to talk about equal groups. I am ready to practice. I'm going to show you what I can do. All right, skip count to find the total number of eggs. So we've talked about counting by 5s and counting by 10s and counting by 2s. We are going to skip count to figure out how many eggs there are. Now let's go ahead and zoom in just a touch. Now, counting by 6s is not a thing that I would do in real life, but it is important to be able to do it because this is where multiplication comes from. When I said before that you don't have to you don't have to memorize times tables, this is it. If you skip count and you practice counting by 5s and 6s and 7s and 8s, then the multiplication becomes easy. Theoretically. Now, I don't know how this works in practice because I just memorized the times tables and that's kind of how I got to where I'm at. So I know that it is 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. So there are 30 eggs in all. Excellent. I see 1, 2, 3, 4 groups of 8. And 4 times 8. Well, let's think about that a little bit because I don't want to count all of those and I don't want to have to count up and I don't want to have to skip count. If I want to multiply 8 times 4, I'm going to multiply 8 times 2 and then multiply that by 2. I know that 8 times 2 is 16 and 16 times 2 is 32. And if that's tough for you, no worries. We're going to do lots more practice. We're going to do lots more practice. So that's 32 flowers in all. Use the image below. It's always sharks. I'm so afraid of sharks. Why is it always sharks? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and count these sharks. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 groups. There are 9 threes. Oh, how cool is that? There are 9 threes. This is absolutely 3rd grade vocabulary. There are 9 sets of 3 is what my college-educated mathematical brain would say. But yeah, there are 9 threes. 9 times 3. So that's 27. And I don't have to count all the sharks, and I don't have to skip count. I don't have to go 3, 6, 9. I can just multiply, which again is new at this point. So there are 27 sharks. Skip count to find the total number of walruses. I see 4 and then 8 and then 12 and then 13, 14, 15, 16. Use those fingers if you have to. Encourage your children and your students to use those fingers if they have to. That's literally what they are for. There are 16 walruses in all. And that's equal groups. Easy peasy. Moving on. Let's talk about understand equal groups as multiplication. Now, we laid the foundation for this already. We have done in 1st and 2nd grade counting by array when there were like 3 rows of 4, and that's 12. We also did cutting a rectangle into smaller rectangles. We did that in a previous video. So we're going to go ahead and hopefully connect those previous ideas to the quote-unquote new idea of multiplication. So we have this 1 plus 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 1. Okay, so there are 6 ones. That is 6 times 1, right? There are 6 ones. Oh, here's another thing, and I'm going to scroll up because I hit the answer before I was ready. I don't know if you can see this, but it says you're almost there. Please choose the correct number of answers. Now, I really like this. In my last video, I kind of ragged on Khan Academy a bit, and in this case, I really like this. This has not been marked wrong. Yeah, it hasn't been marked wrong. I am correct so far, but it's also 6 ones. And it says choose 2 answers. So instead of just marking me wrong and punishing me for not noticing that there were supposed to be 2 correct answers, it just gave me a nudge, and I love that so much. All right, so if I have 6 groups of 4, that's 6 times 4. If I have 5 sixes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, that's 5 sixes. And then 3 groups of 4 is 4 plus 4 plus 4. This is just establishing familiarity with different ways that you can represent multiplication. It is just adding the same thing over and over again, right? If I multiply 3 times 4, that is 4 plus 4 plus 4. It's the same thing. All right, so if we have 8 plus 8, I love this so much. This is so good because later on, there are going to be a lot of really confusing relationships between addition and multiplication, and between that relationship between addition and multiplication and how it kind of affects each other really resonates throughout all of math. So that's 2 times 8, which is 2 eighths. I was never taught this particular vocabulary. I was never taught 2 eighths. But I really like it, and I think that it's a great early way of introducing multiplication and counting, skip counting, that is. All right, 5 threes. That would be 5 times 3. That's not 5 plus 3, though, and that's a big distinction. When I say 5 threes, I don't mean 5 and 3. There's a big difference. There's a big distinction. Sorry, I'm getting notifications right now, which I shouldn't be because I'm goddamn streaming. Sorry about that. My computer angers me sometimes. Okay, where were we? I was in the middle of ranting about math. Fine. So it's not 5 plus 3, but it is, and it's not 5 times 5 times 5. That's another thing. It's not 5 times 5 times 5. That is something that we will learn later on. We'll learn about exponents, way later on. I think exponents don't come until like 6th or 7th grade. But it's not 5 times 5 times 5. You could say if these timeses were pluses, that would be correct. And then 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, yes, that is correct. Because that's literally 5 threes. Look at them, count them. There's 5 of them. Okay, so 3 nines, that's 9 plus 9 plus 9. 9 groups of 2 would be 9 times 2, right? 9 groups of 2. And then 2 groups of 3 would be 3 plus 3. All right, so we have 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So that's 5 sixes, which is the same thing as 5 times 6, which is indeed 30. So 10 plus 10 is obviously not 2 plus 10. And it's not 2 ones, but I can see where this came from. Let's not accidentally click that. It's 2 tens and also 2 times 10. And I really want to take a second to highlight this similarity here. That right there. When we say 2 tens, we mean 2 times 10. It is a mathematical process that we are talking about, And it's good to be able to connect those ideas. Yes, my whiteboard is working. I'm so happy. Okay, moving on. That is understand equal groups as multiplication. Moving on.